Hi, everybody. You may be interested in following along with the news and trying to understand when the next president of the United States is going to finally be counted with the proper votes. Or you can go looking for the information yourself if you have an interest in data science and data analysis. It turns out the government of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has put together some pretty useful resources for researchers that are or citizens that are interested in knowing facts for themselves directly. So there is a website from the Department of State from Pennsylvania that will give you the count of what has been counted in all of the various different counties across the 67 counties across Pennsylvania. And you'll notice that there is the counting progress of ballots, including mail-in ballots, is given here at votespa.com/counting. It turns out that there's actually a better site for the actual data on what the open ballots are that haven't been counted so far. And again, the government of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has invested some resources or invested some money in resources that are available to the public. And Open Data PA is one of those. And there's a table at the bottom of this page here which shows you all the various different counties and what the current status is of the ballots that are remaining and the ballots that are counted. So you can go looking for that information yourself on a manual basis, or something that I saw especially interesting and intriguing that many people interested in data science using Power BI especially might appreciate is this API choice that you see listed here on the Open Data PA page. So the Socrata Open Data API, the SODA, provides programmatic access to this data set, including the ability to filter, query, and aggregate data. So you can use their tool to build your own visualizations and put together charts and various different graphics to help try and understand and make sense of what's going on with the election that we see in Pennsylvania. If you notice, there's an API endpoint that's listed here, a JSON reference, and if we copy this, then we can go into Power BI and we can create a dashboard. So you notice the different choices that you have available to you. One of them is a JSON file reference here if you had the JSON file itself directly, or you can go down to the web choice. There we go. Web. And let's connect to the web. And for the URL of that web, I'm simply going to put in that JSON reference that they gave us on the clipboard from the Open Data PA gov.place. And so here is the transformation excuse me, the transform data step for the query that we see. And these individually will be JSON records if that's what we want to take a look at individually. Expand each of these individual records to accommodate the view of 67 counties in the states, or excuse me, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But instead, what I'm going to do is I will convert this list to a table. And I will use none as the delimiter and click on OK, and that will give me an expanded column here of records. And then I will expand the fields in the column further by clicking the icon in the upper right corner here, choosing all the fields that I want, and simply clicking on OK. And now I have my data table that I can use for my visualizations. Notice this is a combination of, again, text or numbers, and we want the ballots, for instance, to be whole numbers. So we'll change these data types from the generic text numbers. The counties, on the other hand, the name of the counties are text values, so we want to be okay with that. This count column here seems to be some type of percentage. It's a number between 0 and 1, so you can use decimals, I guess, or I'm going to use percentage in this case. The ballots counted, again, is a whole number. The ballots remaining is a whole number, and that should be all of the columns we need to have taken care of. We can change the column headers so that they make sense to us when we're working with them in the excuse me, in the data visualization pane. So let's see, these are ballots issued, change the titles of each of these columns or the headers of each of the columns. So we'll go ahead and close and apply, and those changes have been made to the data model. And so you see now that we have automatically been given some summary measures of the data values that we were working with. So if I choose to add a data visualization, such as a clustered bar chart, for instance, and if I throw the county on the axis, and I then look at the number of ballots that were issued as the data value, this will show you the different counties in Pennsylvania, and the number of ballots that were issued to each of those counties. If you have an interest in knowing how many of them have been counted, you'll want to click and drag that into the values piece there, and you now have a bar side by side that shows that. And if you'd like to see if there are ballots that are remaining from that, you then have this particular ability to highlight what the remaining choices are. And you see now that there are very few ballots that are left for counting in Pennsylvania. Further, if you want to examine in more granular detail, you can include a slicer, for instance. Oops, I want to click over here and add a slicer separately. And if I want to look at it on a county by county basis, for instance, now that I have the slicer here, for instance, I can click down on Philadelphia County. I know is one of those that has ballots left. If I hold down the control key, I can select more than one of these choices at once. And so I know another county that has ballots open to be counted at this point is Allegheny. And so that's a very quick and dirty visualization for how you would put together a side-by-side cluster bar charts. And in the end, just to show you through the magic of preparing in advance. And so here's the dashboard that we end up having published to the world at large so they could investigate for themselves. If this has been helpful for you, please click subscribe. If you would like to see additional videos, please let us know in the comments. Thanks for listening.